Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Storytime, BPL's weekly virtual story time, which you can view live every Wednesday at 10:30 or look at a recording later through our Facebook page. So I mentioned this last week, but this week we're celebrating Johnny Appleseed Day. And as always, Miss Melissa has put together a really fun activity packet celebrating Johnny Appleseed. You can pick these up at the library or call us from the curb at 918-338-4170 and we'll bring one right out to you. This has lots of information about Johnny Appleseed, a crossword puzzle, a maze. You can make your own little Johnny Appleseed guy. And there's a song that goes like this. Here comes Johnny Appleseed. Apple seeds are all he needs, planting apples on his way out west. Wears a pot up on his head, beneath the stars he makes his bed. Folks say Johnny's apples are the best. So, here's our packet for the week that you can pick up at the library. Johnny Appleseed was a real person a long, long time ago. Now, at that time, there weren't very many apples available in our country. They were limited to just, a very small area of America. Johnny Appleseed just wandered through the country and planted apple trees and apple orchards. Orchards are big groups of trees. And because of him, there are apples all over America for us to enjoy. So you can learn more about him in the packet and also in this book I'm going to read. I got this book because it's good for story time, but we have 4 or 5 or maybe 6 more books about Johnny Appleseed here at the library that you can check out. Okay? This book is by Patricia Demuth, and the pictures are by Michael Montgomery. Johnny Appleseed. Do you think Johnny Appleseed was his real name? I don't know. Let's find out. Who was Johnny Appleseed? Was he just in stories? Nope. Johnny was a real person. His name was John Chapman. He planted apple trees, lots and lots of them, so people called him Johnny Appleseed. Johnny was young when our country was young. Back then, many people were moving out west. There were no towns, no schools, not even many houses, and there were no apple trees, none at all. Johnny was going west too. He wanted to plant apple trees. He wanted to make the West a nicer place to live. So Johnny got a big, big bag and he filled it with apple seeds. Then he set out. Johnny walked for days and weeks. So we didn't have cars back then, but he didn't even ride a horse. He just walked. He walked for days and weeks, on and on. Soon his clothes were rags. His feet were bare. And what kind of hat did he wear? A cooking pot? A cooking pot. That way he didn't have to carry it. Snow came. Did Johnny stop? Nope. He made snowshoes and then he walked some more. Spring came. Johnny was way out west now. He stopped by a river and he dug a hole. Inside, he put an apple seed. Then he covered it with dirt. Someday an apple tree would stand here. Johnny set out again. He had lots more seeds to plant. Johnny walked by himself, but he was not alone. Who were his friends? The animals were his friends. Most people were afraid of wild animals. They had guns to shoot them, but not Johnny. One day, a big black bear saw Johnny go by. He didn't even hurt Johnny. Maybe the bear knew Johnny was a friend. The Native American Indians were Johnny's friends too. They showed him how to find good food like berries and plants and roots. Where did Johnny sleep? Under the stars. Johnny liked to lie on his back and look up. The wind blew softly. Owls hooted. The stars winked down at him. Many years passed. Johnny planted apple trees everywhere, and that's when people started to call him Johnny Appleseed. One day, he came back to where he had planted the first seed. It was a big tree now. A girl was swinging in it. That night, Johnny stayed with the girl's family. He told stories. Everybody liked Johnny. Stay with us, they said. Make a home here. But Johnny did not stay. I have work to do, he said. I'm happy. The whole world is my home. More and more people came out west, and Johnny planted more and more seeds. In the spring, the trees bloomed with white flowers, and in the fall there were apples, red, round, ripe apples. People made apple pies and apple butter for their bread and apple cider to drink, and children had apple trees to climb. And it was all thanks to Mr. Johnny Appleseed. The end. That page about him lying and sleeping under the stars made me want to sing about stars. Shall we sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Give yourselves a hand. Beautiful job. All right, so it did also mention in that book about how, you can eat apples. Apples are good just by themselves, but you can also make things with apples, like apple pie and applesauce. And I have a book about both of those. I have two books about both of those. The first one is called The Apple Pie Tree by Zoe Hall and Sherry Halpern. My sister and I have a tree that grows the best part of apple pie. Can you guess what that is? Why, apples, of course. And every year we watch our apple tree grow. In the winter, our apple tree is brown and bare. But in spring, leaves grow on every branch. Look, 2 robins are building a nest in our tree. Tiny pink flowers appear on the branches. The robins chirp loudly, guarding their eggs. Just when the flower buds open, baby robins break through the eggshells. Mommy robin or daddy robin, I don't know which one that is feeding the babies. What's he feeding them? Yummy worms. Now our tree is covered with blossoms, and the baby robins grow feathers. When breezes blow, the petals fall to the ground. Mama and Papa Robin teach their little birds to fly. Some days it rains, and the wind blows really hard. I think we're going to have some of those kinds of days very soon. But our apple tree is strong, and the robins are safe in the branches. Small green apples grow where the blossoms used to be. Soon it is summer, and the apples get bigger and bigger. The little robins have grown up, but they visit every day. The branches bend down low. They're covered with big, round apples. Now it is autumn or fall. The apples are red and ready to be picked. We fill our basket to the brim. Mom and Dad help us peel the apples, cut them up, and pile them into a pie shell. Then we sprinkle cinnamon and sugar over the top. Mom puts the pan in the oven. At last, the pie is cooked and ready to be eaten. Our tree has grown an apple pie. It smells so good. Do you like apple pie? And it tastes delicious. There's nothing as good as an apple pie that you grew yourself. The end. And then there's some information in the end about how bumblebees help our apples grow. And there's a recipe for apple pie. Pretty cool, huh? Now, something in this book reminded me of an old song. I can't remember if I learned it in first grade with Mrs. Sweeney or in second grade with Mrs. Finney. If any of my old friends are watching, remind me. But these birds, as we learned, are robins. Robins have a red chest, also called their breast. So there's a song called Little Robin Redbreast that I learned when I was very small, and it goes like this. Little Robin Redbreast sat up in the tree. Up went the pussycat and down went he. Down went the pussycat, away Robin ran. Says Robin Redbreast, catch me if you can. There you go. I remember it after all these years. Now, who likes applesauce? I like applesauce better than I like apple pie. So you can buy applesauce at the store, but you can also make it. Let's see if this book has a recipe for how to make applesauce at the back. It sure does. Applesauce Season, written by Eden Ross Lipson, illustrated by Mordecai Gerstein. This whole family gets into the spirit of making applesauce at a certain time of year. On this page, it shows pictures of the family and pictures of all different kinds of apples. Did you know there were different kinds of apples? They have names like Honeycrisp and Pink Lady and Northern Spy. And this is Ida Red, Paula Red, and Red Delicious. There are even yellow apples and green apples. Green apples are called Granny Smith. Applesauce season starts just about the time school opens, when it is still hot and summery, but vacation is over. One day Grandma says, "It's time for applesauce." We live in the city, so there are no apple trees, but there are farmers markets where there are lots of apples. Sometimes my grandmother goes to the market. Sometimes my mom and dad go. Sometimes my big sisters. If I don't have soccer, I go too. We have a farmers market here in Bartlesville. I love apple names. In our markets, first come Ida Red and Paula Red, 20 Ounce and Macintosh, Ginger Gold and Jonah Gold. Later, there's, I don't know if I'm saying all these right, McCown, Baldwin, Northern Spy, and King David. And after that come Winesap and Black Twig and Mutsu and Mutsu's mother. And there are lots of others. We buy 6 pounds of apples for sauce because that's just how much our sauce pot holds. And we buy as many more for what Grandma calls eating out of hand. When we get home, the sauce apples are dumped in the kitchen sink and washed. I stand on the stepladder right next to the counter where the grown-ups chop the apples and choose which ones to cut up first. Sometimes I say put in the little ones, sometimes the big ones, sometimes the dark red or yellow ones. My grandmother says there have to be at least 3 kinds in each pot of sauce for real flavor, but sometimes we use more. One of this and one of that too. That's why our applesauce is different every week. As one kind of apple disappears, another takes its place. Mom cuts them into quarters. Grandma cuts them into sixths. Sixths, that's a hard word to say. I don't know why. The apples go into the pot, skin, seeds, and all. When it is still summer and there's no cider yet, we add a glass of water or juice so the apples won't burn when they cook. Later, we add fresh cider. It doesn't take long for the apples to be soft and bubbly and start to smell good. The first time we make sauce, we make fresh cinnamon sugar too. I put sugar into a pretty jar, add some dark brown ground cinnamon, put the lid on tight, and shake it till the sugar turns pale brown. That's a fun job, I bet. When the apples are all soft, a grown-up turns off the stove and opens the pot to let the mush cool a bit while I go and get the food mill. We put the hooks on the bottom of the mill on top of a big bowl and carefully put the warm cooked apples into it. And we grind and scrape till all the apples have gone through to the bowl below. All that's left in the mill is a small clump of the cooked skins and cores and seeds. Then I put some of the cinnamon sugar into the apples. Not much, just a little. Mom puts in a little slice of butter about the size of the tip of her pinky finger, and Grandma adds a tiny bit of salt. We taste till it tastes right, and then it cools some more and thickens, and then it's ready. Daddy doesn't make applesauce. He makes good things to go with it, like potato pancakes, or for special mornings, fancy thin pancakes called crepes. He puts it with roast, and if there's anything left at the end of the week, he uses it in a cake that's very good for snacking. We celebrate the first sauce of the season. My big sisters and the grown-ups, and sometimes the neighbors too, all sit at the table. We wait until everyone is served. I get a special cup, and then make a good wish for the rest of the season. We eat applesauce plain, or with ice cream, or with cottage cheese, or gingerbread, or cookies, or sliced bananas. The color and the thickness and the taste of the sauce changes every single week. Sometimes it's pink and very sweet. Sometimes it's pale brown and a little dry, so we add more cider. Later, toward Thanksgiving, it's usually yellow. It's always delicious. By December, there are no more new kinds of apples, so we stop making sauce and just eat the apples. There are other things to do with apples, too. My grandpa didn't like birthday cake, so he always had apple pie. We remember his birthday by having apple pie with ice cream and a candle on top. Grandpa always saved a piece of that pie for his breakfast to eat with sharp yellow cheese. Daddy sometimes has that, too. Apple pie is good, but I still like applesauce the best. Maybe I'll change my mind when I grow up. Maybe not. The end. That was good. All right. I have one more book. Don't forget about the Johnny Appleseed activity packet we have available. This is a really neat book. It's, at first you think, oh my goodness, there are holes in the pages. What? Look at this. But it's really a cleverly put together book by Lucy Felix. It's called Apples and Robins. We read about apples in all of our books. We read about robins in the apple pie book. So this is called Apples and Robins. See the little hole in the cover? You can see the bird in the birdhouse. Now you can see the whole bird. All you need for apples are circles and the color red. Boom. Summer is ending and the apples hang high on my tree, just out of reach. All you need for a ladder are 6 rectangles, 5 short ones, and 1 long one. That doesn't look like a ladder, but when I turn the page, see the hole in the book? There's your ladder. And you can climb to the leafy branches to pick an apple. All you need to take a bite are 2 circles. An apple is a circle. An open mouth is a circle. And a bite of apple is so sweet. But someone else thinks so too. Ew, a worm. All you need for a bird are 3 bright triangles like the robin's whistle and a red oval like its round red breast. Ready to see the robin? There it is. It will fly away with the worm and sit in my apple tree singing. All you need for a birdhouse are walls and a roof and a little door. Ready to see the birdhouse? There it is. And a string to hang it with. Now there is a place for a robin's nest. But all you need for a storm is for the wind to blow and the sky to rumble. Crack! Lightning. Oh no. The wind blew apart the treehouse. What a mess, but we'll rake the leaves and gather the apples. All you need for a basket is an empty place to put things. All you need for a birdhouse is a hammer and some nails. I'll climb the ladder and hang the birdhouse and take the apples in to eat. All winter long, there will be apples. Here she's looking out the window. And now we're looking in the window at her. There will be apples and there will be robins. And one morning when you're making your breakfast, an egg will crack in the robin's nest. And there will be baby robins and apple flowers. It will be spring. And this is right about where we are. It's almost spring, isn't it? Very soon we will see baby birds and apple flowers and green leaves. I can't wait. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for story time. I will see you next Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. on BPL's Facebook page. Thanks.